While one of its key ingredients, wheat, is in short supply this year, business in the craft beer industry is brisk and growing in Oklahoma. In 1995, the Chalk Brewery in Krebs was the only brewery in the state. Now there are more than 15 brewing companies and brew pubs in Oklahoma. Several started production in the past couple of years. Tulsa's Marshall Brewing Company is one that has seen great success since it started 6 years ago.
The metamorphosis of the Marshall Brewing Company began when a University of Tulsa international business student studying in Germany fell in love with beer and the art of brewing it. That graduate, Eric Marshall, decided to become an entrepreneur with the goal of starting a brewery in his hometown of Tulsa.
So I actually went back then to Germany and studied brewing and apprenticed at 6 different breweries in Germany. And then came back to the States once I moved back here and went to work for a brewery just outside of Philadelphia for a little over a year before then moving back to start this. So.
Since its first commercial brew of beer in 2008, the Marshall Brewing Company has seen steady, profitable growth.
And you know, the cool thing is we're still growing here in Oklahoma, which is nice, and we sell in 3 other states as well. I'm looking at some other markets, but you know, that we're still having growth in year 6 in Oklahoma is a really, really cool thing.
Marshall and his staff of 6 produce 4 beers year-round. They also brew seasonal and limited edition beers.
So last year I think we produced somewhere like 16 different beers, which, you know, that's sort of the name of the game in the craft is variety, but, you know, passion and innovation and you know, a dedication to tradition as well.
The basic recipe for beer is malt, which comes from barley, hops, which is the flowering part of a hops plant, water, and yeast.
So when we're actually brewing, we're taking malt, we're taking water and hops, and for lack of a better term, brewing all of those together to make a sugary liquid called wort. And then that wort then gets cooled down, put into the fermentation tanks where we add the yeast. The yeast then eats the sugar, creates alcohol and CO2, thus giving us beer.
The big vats are called brewers. Depending on the recipe, the beer stays in the fermentation tanks anywhere from 10 days to 6 weeks. The finished product fills kegs and bottles. Among his other duties, Wes Alexander is in charge of sales and marketing.
So it's interesting to see that not only is craft beer growing as an industry across the nation, it's growing here in Oklahoma, but we're reaching segments that craft beer has never been before. And you know, that's the corner bar, and that's really exciting because that means we've got a cultural shift happening, that people are expecting more quality in their beer.
While overall beer sales in the nation dropped nearly 2% by volume in 2013, the growth of the craft brewing industry increased by 18% volume and 20% by dollars. At Marshall Brewing, they think the rise of social media and the internet has opened new markets for people looking to buy locally.
And it's not just craft beer, it's wine, it's spirits, as you know. Craft cocktail lounges are popping up. So it's not just craft beer, it's that there's a cultural shift for everything, you know, locally sourced beef and cheese and all of those things. People are looking to kind of return to that European or original society where we've got the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, you know.
Even though Marshall Company beer is sold in 3 other states, the loyalty of Oklahomans is what has driven the company's success. Breweries in Oklahoma City, Edmond, and other locales in the state also enjoy hometown support. And palates don't seem to be lacking for all the varieties.
We like to say that our industry, as craft beer collectively, has between 8 and 9% market share in terms of volume. So that's pretty small, and you divide that amongst 2,800 breweries. But the fact that we're now we're seeping or infiltrating into the corner bar is a good sign that craft beer is here to stay and that it's going to have a long growth model.
Market predictors show Made in Oklahoma beer is a growing choice among younger drinkers who will continue to fuel the demand for homemade brew.